Good morning, Opening Pathways viewers. This is Tom LeNoble. I'm excited to be with you again today, and I'm even more excited with the guest I have. Tunji Williams is the founder and CEO of Had to Be Here and the founder and chairman of Village Inc. We're going to learn more about Had to Be Here and Village Inc., but we're going to learn a lot more about Tunji. Tunji, welcome to Opening Pathways.
Thank you, Tom. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here. I want to jump right in. It looks like you've got these two things going on. I'm interested to start at the beginning of what sparked your idea for these two entities. And I don't know, you might only want to talk about one of them, but I want to know.
Absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me here. I've listened to a bunch of the podcasts before, trying to figure out how I'm going to present myself today. So with the two companies, Village Inc. and Had to Be Here. Village Inc. came first, and Village Inc. is just a studio for developing technology solutions to help communities live better together. So as simple as that. We dream up the concepts for the product, we build them, we finance their go-to-market. That's Village. Had to Be Here is a little closer to my heart. That's my brand new company. It's a social technology company. It's designed to make social networking a presence first activity again. So, we've all been confined to our digital prisons on our phones, trying to find one another and find information. And I think we're just in a moment in time where we need to figure out how to discover one another in person again. So I'm just building technology tools to make that easy for folks wherever they are.
You know, I love the word presence, and I love that you're working on it. You and I are going to have to talk a little deeper about that because I think we too are in need of some presence in many factors in our life, not only with ourselves, but with each other. I think that that crazy pandemic that we went through, epidemic, whatever we want to call it, which gave us the tools that you and I likely would never even be speaking if it hadn't happened. But I think there's a need for us to have presence again with one another. I know in my work, I'm finding people who want to be face to face again, not give up these wonderful tools, but still be have time to be actually interacting and have presence with one another. So tell me this, I want to focus on Had to Be Here for a moment. Since you started it, has it changed you in any way?
Yes, short answer. A lot of ways. I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I can say that confidently. I've been doing it for about a decade now. I'm still learning. I feel like a student still, like a freshman in college, trying to figure out the world of business and how to position myself and the things I build in a way that speaks truthfully about who I am and what I'm trying to put into the world and connects with large audiences so we can build businesses that are viable and extend the future. Um, Had to Be Here has changed me a lot, but I was changing already, as we all are every day. The last 5 years of my life have been challenging. Uh, been through all kinds. I'm still in the midst of it in lots of ways, but it just kind of upended everything that was comfortable for me. All the anchors in my life that I believe would always be around. Uh, all the constructs I thought I understood and people I thought I understood shifted in real time for me. So with Had to Be Here, I was looking for something, an anchor, something to help me understand again what's real, what's not, and how can I find people to help me create a world for myself that feels whole and feels true. So that was the genesis of the product. As I'm building the product and building the company, I'm learning so much about myself. Uh, so many faulty and incorrect assumptions I had about myself, and it's forcing is even though the product is designed to go outward and empower people to connect with others. As I'm building it, ironically, I'm being forced to go inwards and properly connect with myself and understand, what's missing in me that's causing me to want to create this product, and how can I discover how to build a filler or a bridge for that gap in me to make this product speak in a healthy way to more people.
You know, I'd love to know who believed in Tunji before you believed in yourself.
Hmm. My instinctive answer to that, Tom, is I want to say a lot of people. Um, but these last 5 years have really I've been wrestling. I've been wrestling with my God. I've been wrestling with consciousness and my understanding of reality before this period. And I felt like a lot of people believed in me, and there's evidence to support that belief. But as I reflect as an adult, having gone through the things I'm going through, we all go through these things. I see these people in these situations, some of them differently than I did as I was going through them. They don't feel as supportive today as they did then. Um, there's a lot there. But let me answer the question more directly. There's a lady named Bonita Boyce, late Bonita Boyce. She was my fifth grade teacher in Ann Arbor, Michigan at Logan Elementary School. And that was the first school I attended when we moved to America from the UK in 1997 when I was 8 years old. So that was third grade for me. I had Miss Boyce's class 2 years later, and I was still struggling trying to figure out my footing in America. Why are we here? Why did mom and dad bring us here? Why does nobody else sound like me in Ann Arbor? Why does nobody else look like me? Where do I fit in? I was popular. I found a way to figure my footing out, find good enough friends, but I still just felt out of place. And Miss Boyce, for the first time, made me feel at home in America. She called me almost from the first day of school. She called me my Tunj, my Tunj, and it didn't feel like ownership. It felt like knowing. It felt like she knew me already from somewhere else, and she was
Yeah.
claiming me. And in her claiming me, uh, it gave me a sense of security, and then it invited others to come in and begin to get to know me as she saw me. And
Yeah.
that was a beautiful thing. She also told me one day, Tunji, I don't know why she said this, you're going to be a U.S. Senator.
Oh,
I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know what that meant. But
wow.
it just sounded like something big and something good. And this lady had somehow seen in me something great before I understood exactly who I was. And that, so Miss Boyce,
You
100%.
know, I love Miss Boyce.
Me too.
Mine was my fourth grade teacher, who was Miss Barrett. You know, in first grade, I was a kid. My mother worked in the school, which always caused problems. But in first grade, I remember I was sat by this bathroom next to the cubby holes, and there was Miss McClellan had put this little green and red thing that hung from it that when you went in the bathroom, you put it on red. When you came out, you put it on green. And so when people would go in the bathroom and put it on red, I'd reach over and turn it to green just to get a laugh. Well, that year I'm in the school picture by in that corner by the bathroom. The rest of the time in the school picture, I'm on the other side of the room. And, you know, second grade, I had three teachers and was a real interesting time. Third grade, they didn't even know what to do with me. But fourth grade, Miss Barrett figured it out that I was just bored. I figured finish my work early, and so there was a little garden outside of her room, and she would let me go out there. And I'll never forget it because she acknowledged that it wasn't something was wrong with me, that there was actually maybe something that was just maybe even a little enhanced about me, and that I just needed something to do to occupy my brain, which was, I'm grateful for that. Tell me, Tunj, I'm interested in knowing where has life asked you to slow down lately?
Life hasn't asked me to slow down. Life has told me to sit your ass down. You're not going anywhere. So it hasn't given me a choice. I heard you describe it in other episodes as the two by four, the two by four effect. And life has definitely served me two by four over the last 3 or 4 years. Um, and that's not natural for me. I joked when I was in college. I went to college in New York. Um, I won't be too explicit, but I would explain to people, why I don't do certain drugs. My blood is cocaine. That's just how I'm. That's how I am naturally. I don't need anything to stimulate me, even though I drink a cup of coffee every morning. Um, so that's my default. I want to move. I want to be in motion. That feels meaningful to me. But when life completely upended itself for me, I was forced to sit on this couch where I'm doing this interview right now. I moved into the studio in the beginning of 2024 in January, after my marriage fell apart, building my last company. Uh, we had a daughter, 6-year-old daughter. She was, 3 at the time. She's 6 now. And I'm in this studio apartment in the same city as my daughter and my ex-wife, uh, trying to figure out how to build this next company, working a couple day jobs. And I'm stuck on this couch, the same couch where I sleep. It's the same couch where I build my company. It's the same couch where I watch TV. It's the same couch where I have all my meals. It's the same couch where I'm forced to reckon with myself every single day. So you're catching me on the couch that life has put me on, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
build from here.
I love this couch. It's a great metaphor you and I are going to explore one day. Viewers, the two by four that Tunji is speaking of is there's things in our life. Sometimes it's a health issue, a relationship issue, a personal issue. And what happens is they kind of tap on us and try and get our attention. And when we don't pay attention, they tap a little harder, and then we really don't pay attention, that's when they get the two by four out and something more dramatic happens in our life, whether it be with that health issue, relationship issue, or something going on in your life. So that's what the two by four is about that Tunji's speaking of. Tunji, tell me this. What values have guided you from the start?
I grew up with rather conscientious parents, um, attentive and conscientious people. And my dad, especially, was really focused. He lost his father when he was 5 years old in Nigeria. He died when he was young. Um, so since I've been a child, my dad, I think, has made it his personal project and mission to try and instill in me an operating system that would guide me in life and help me avoid some of the pitfalls I think that he's fallen into or seen others fall into. And then to just be a fallback for me, personal constitution, compass as I've grown older. So growing up, it was extremely, extremely annoying and frustrating. I would get a lecture, 2 to 3 lectures a day from my dad. And these aren't like 10-minute lectures. These are, 45-minute, hour-long lectures. And I'm not exaggerating. You can ask my younger brother. Um, and I would argue with him. I'm a fighter. I'm a renegade in ways. I never thought I was, but I wrestle with that. I am. Um, and I would fight with him not out of ego, but more just because I thought he was incorrect about a lot of things and some things, and I would explain why I believed that. But over the years, I've come to see that there's a lot he was right about, probably a
Mm.
lot more than I was right about. Uh, so I'll start there. So my values I've inherited from them, the foundational ones. Not that all hasn't stuck. I'm in a phase where I'm becoming more sovereign and more understanding of who I truly am and what matters to me and what's important to me. So my value set is simple. I think the number one, the most important thing is just this is going to sound trite, but the golden rule. I don't think you can go wrong with the golden rule. I believe fundamentally that we're all one, truly. That's another thing. I've been wrestling with the idea of consciousness, and I truly believe that we're all one in a lot of different ways. And if you treat others badly, you can't ever be okay with yourself. So just that is a starting point, the golden rule. I think the second thing is curiosity. Childlike curiosity is the value for me, not just a predisposition or disposition, but the value. I think kind of enter every physical space or every social opportunity like a child, like a kindergartner. Ask questions, poke at things. Treat the real world kind of like you treat social media. Double click on things that are interesting. Go back, explore the comments. Figure out different perspectives, really engage with the world. And so that is the second one. And the third one for me, I think, is just authenticity, raw authenticity. Um, and for me, that means working to escape your masks and the things you believe are your social obligations, and truly present as you believe you are in every situation. And that allows you and opens you up to a world that will be more willing to present itself as it is. So I think those are my main values. I think
Yes, yes,
infused in those are, yeah. There's more. There's
yes.
more there, but those
Lots
are
of
front of mind.
wisdom. Lots of wisdom you just shared. I too believe we are all one, and I'm a big believer in that golden rule, however you want to define it. I look at it as what we put out is what we get back. Whether that be how we treat others or many other things that we do in life. So I'm with you on that fully. How has your relationship with risk changed through all of this?
I'm a pretty risk on uh, person. I love risk. I love adventure. I love uncertainty. And I think early on in my career, my the instinct was just follow whatever is interesting, follow it to the logical conclusion. If you fail, cool, that's information. Move on to the next thing. Uh, and I think part of that has led me to this phase where everything is falling apart. I don't think I was mature or wise in some of the early career risks that I've taken. Um, I think now the way I look at risk is similarly. I haven't abandoned my instinct, but I just try to structure the risks I take uh, such that I have more opportunities to gather information before I take the next step of risk. So I'm still risk on 100%, probably 500%, but I just structure my risky endeavors and projects and experiments such that the downside is limited, or at least known to the extent possible ex ante beforehand.
How does Tunji know when to pivot or push through?
I'm still learning, Tom. I'm still learning. I'm hard headed. I'm very stubborn. I believe the things I believe, and I'm convicted about them. That's the only reason I moved to action. Um, so previously, life would just force me to pivot. It wouldn't be a considered thing. It'd just be like, dude, this is not working. There's no money here. No one's responding. You got to shift. Uh, I think now, the same way I'm approaching risk with respect to structuring risks, structuring experiments, and designing my adventures in a way that allows me to receive information on an incremental basis so that I can adjust and more effectively move to what I believe is my goal. I doing the same thing. Uh, so yeah, I think I just have a more mature approach. Yeah.
Very good. I want to know this. What impact are you most proud of? Not professionally or publicly, but personally.
Now I've started smoking cigarettes. I'm not proud of it at all. Um, I started in 2024 when I moved into the studio and I landed on this couch. And then I would smoke them, maybe once a week, couple once a week uh, with coffee. But over the last 6 months, I've started smoking like, 1 to 2 packs a week, and it's terrible. Um, and I'm doing it to manage stress. I'm doing it because I find the effects helpful when I'm thinking or I'm zoned in trying to work on the business. And I like the ritual of it. I like going outside, smoking, watching my neighbors from my doorstep, engaging with folks. I like all that comes with it. Uh, all that to say it's terrible. I'm trying to quit. I bring that up because one of the things I love to do, one of the reasons I love cigarettes is because when I've just bought a fresh pack and I'm walking around my neighborhood, as I often do, thinking about the business or, speaking with folks who are helping with the business, is I'll share Lucy's with neighbors who ask for one or, folks I bump into. And I just find it such a beautiful exercise and way to engage with people in a moment of need. I've been there before where you feel like, man, I just need a cigarette right now. I shouldn't buy a pack or there's none around. And when you find someone that's willing to give you one and chat with you for a second, it changes your whole day. Just the one cigarette. So walking around the neighborhood and being able to hand out Lucy's and use them as kind of a portal to engage with people is one of my favorite things to do. And Tom, I'm blanking on your question because that was supposed to be an entry point to answer the question. That's not the heart. The heart of the question was, forgive me.
When you pivot or push through, no, what you're most proud of, not publicly or professionally, but personally.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's that. It's the Lucy's. Uh, and the Lucy's because there was a time in my life when I didn't really understand how to connect with others from a place of vulnerability. Um, I've always felt that I needed to be okay and strong and be seen as admirable before I could go out and engage with people. I don't know where that came from. I think I was raised as a perfectionist, and I'm also that in some way. But in this period of my life, I'm far from perfect. I don't have anything really figured out yet. But that opportunity to go out and give of myself in the most imperfect possible way every single day feels like impact, and it feels like it's part of my healing process, which is awesome. But I need to stop smoking.
Yeah, I think what's interesting that I'll share with you before we move on, and maybe you and I will talk about it later, is this is my second time interacting with you, Tunji, and I find you to be amazingly personable and vulnerable. And in neither of those situations have you been smoking a cigarette. So I'll just leave that. Tell me this. Is there a boundary that you've set that has become essential to your sustainability?
Yes. Um, the new boundary for me, Tom, is just being okay with solitude, being truly okay with solitude. I grew up kind of as a loner, an outsider. We moved so much. The move I talked to you about was like our third move, our third continental move, and we had a few more when we were in the U.S. So every time I, growing up, every time I entered a new room, I would have to figure out, okay, who do these people think I am? Who am I actually in this moment, and how do I present myself in a way that keeps me safe in this environment and allows me to kind of move towards whatever I'm supposed to be moving towards? So just that outsider's lens is my own. Uh, that's it animates it's animated everything I do, including the products I build. I've been obsessed with this concept of telepathy since I was a child. You know, just shared consciousness. Um, and for me, I think that that was medicine in a way because I felt so much stress over my life, feeling that I've always got to explain myself uh, anywhere I am. I've never felt truly at home in any environment, like I truly belong. So I always felt I had to make a case to the folks around me as to why I'm here. You know, this is why I'm here. You can trust me. It's okay. And this is how I can help you. Just leave me alone. Don't hurt me. Um, so the first product I created was a legal collaboration platform for lawyers to kind of make their workflow and their collaborative process more transparent to their colleagues and their clients. And as far away as that sounds from what I'm talking about, it's exactly that. It's the idea of kind of opening up your internal world or your internal processes to those around you so they can better understand what's driving you and where you are in the moment. So that is that's key and fundamental to who I am. Tom, I've forgotten your question. I haven't done an interview in a long time. I was listening to your interviews this morning, and I was thinking, I'm excited to chat with Tom and do this interview, but I would much rather spend the rest of the day listening to every single episode that
Well,
Tom's ever
please,
recorded. I find
please do, please do,
I,
please
I
do.
will. I
Yeah,
will.
please do. So I'm curious. I want to ask you some other questions here today. What do you think the is the big vision that's coming for Tunji?
I'll give you the answer for the material world first, and then I'll give you the more important one second. Materially, I want to build a really big company. Tom. I want this one to be the one uh, that's out of the park, and I believe in my heart deeply that it is. Um, so I want to build a company and a product that speaks to billions of people across the world and makes them feel at home anywhere they are. And beyond that, I want to build a company whose ethos and operating principles speak to a new kind of way of doing capitalism in a world that needs to be more connected, uh, more equitable, um, and more real to the majority of people that make up our economies everywhere in the world. So that means a lot of things to me. I hope to tell that story through the company, our corporate governance structure, uh, the products we build, and the way we go to market, and all the markets we intend to go to in the world. So that's the material part. I want to build a great company, and part of that is from weakness. I want to matter. I want to be remembered. I want to have a beautiful legacy on the way, and I just love building and bringing people close to me as I build. In the spiritual world, in the internal world, I want to be at peace, Tom. I want to not need the first thing, number one. And then I want to be at peace no matter what's going on around. And I want to love myself. And in so doing that, be able to truly love whoever is around me. So that's what I want.
I love this. What does renewal look like for you? Not just a day off or resting. How does Tunji renew himself?
I shock myself out of my patterns. So I don't relax to renew generally. I've relaxed in the sense that I go into solitude. So I'm most comfortable alone, but not in complete isolation. Uh, Alone as an observer. I related to Gatsby, um, reading that in high school, only because he liked to throw those huge parties and not actually attend them, kind of sit on the terrace and watch them. That's me, not Gatsby, but just that part. I love being alone together with others. So renewal for me is part that, and then part being shocked out of ways of living that have become too comfortable for me, being shocked out of monotony into a brand new world or way of understanding the world and navigating that back to myself. That renews me every time. And I've been through that cycle a few times so far. I imagine I'll go through it a few more. I'm in one right now. So
Love this. What wisdom have you earned that could never be learned in a book? Wisdom that you've earned that could never be learned from a book.
I want to give you the honest answer without telling anybody else's story. That's what I struggle with right now most, Tom, as I try to figure out how I tell my story in a way that's honest and connects, but doesn't tell other folks' story before they're ready, or tells it in a way that's fair. I think it's that we must create our reality every day. Nothing is permanent, nothing is fixed, and the world changes just as we do. And we have the agency and the power. I have the agency and I have the power every day to go into the world and decide, how do I want the world around me to look, and what am I going to do to make that happen? Um, and not just be, as much as I like to observe, not just be a recipient and being acted upon, but go into the world and act, do good things, and change the landscape around me. Um, I don't think you can teach somebody that. I think you just have to go through it and keep showing up and doing the work and interacting with the world and engaging and realize you can shift things. This is not a painting. This is a 3D, 5D world that you can engage and you can change. And the way your inner world works dictates the way the outer world looks. So the real focus is engaging and exploring the inner world. And then with that tooling, going out into the outer world and playing with it and adjusting it to match your inner world as much as possible. I love it. And you can't teach it. You just have to do
Yeah,
it.
I love this. Tunji, what have you learned about trust?
I was born and raised like a super trusting person, Tom. Like I'm I don't know how old I look. You said in our last conversation that I look young and vital. Days I don't really feel these days I don't feel that way. Um but I accept that and I'm happy about that. And I inside I feel young and vital. I feel innocent. I feel curious. Um, yeah, I feel innocent. I feel curious, um, and I feel invigorated. Sometimes I, 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 I wrote yesterday in my journal and on X that I write my daily agenda, my daily to do list generally a few days in advance. But as you're building a company, I think anybody that's trying to build a startup or try to build something of their own will realize that on the actual day of execution, the to do list writes itself. Like your do list will look brand new. You adding items as the day goes on. So I think the lesson it's teaching me is being okay with not knowing what tomorrow brings or what tomorrow is going to look like, and it does all work itself out. And there's an animating force, a guiding force that's guiding life that can't be reduced to a to-do list. And just like the birds don't worry about what they're going to eat later in the afternoon, but they somehow get fed every day. I think we're
Yeah,
the same way as humans. So releasing
I
myself from that worry about what's coming and just enjoying what's here.
yeah, I agree with you. The ocean doesn't worry about whether the next wave will come. The plant in the ground in winter doesn't worry about whether it's going to bloom in the spring. There's so much about us that is the same. Tell me this, Tunji, what possibility excites you enough to make you uncomfortable?
I think the possibility of finding true love again, or finding true love, period, makes me very uncomfortable because I don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to open up truly to somebody else because of some of the things I've been through. But I want that more than anything else. I want to be able to truly trust somebody else and accept them, even with all their imperfections. I know we're humans. I know we're shrewd. I know we're scheming. But to be able to love somebody, irrespective of all that, and truly, truly love them and commit to them, I want that again, even though I've become jaded in ways. But that freaks me out from this vantage point. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
it's
it.
a really good answer, really good answer. You know, you spoke about legacy earlier. Tell us what legacy means to you at this stage of life.
I, I think legacy is about the wake you leave after you leave a room or you leave an environment. How does it feel after you've been there? Uh, there's the material element. What do you leave in the world for your children, for the people you care about, the causes you care about? But there's also, how did the world shift? How did human consciousness shift because you existed in whatever realm you existed, wherever you were felt? What shifted and how did it shift? And I want the worlds that I live in to feel warmer, more true, more childlike, uh, and more beautifully unpredictable after I leave. So I want that to be my imprint.
Like
It's
that.
my spiritual imprint. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me this. If a very, very, very young Tunji were watching this podcast we're recording, what would you tell him?
I say make sure you prepare really well if you're ever asked to do a podcast. Um, and I would tell him after that bad joke, just to not worry. Don't worry. You're okay. You're a good person. You try. You mess up. Not everybody around you is who you think they are, but don't let that change who you are. And still try to treat them with kindness and keep building stuff, keep putting stuff out into the world, more stuff out into the world than what you consume. Because God gifted you with a talent to build, to write, and to touch and connect with people in your own unique way. So just keep doing that. Don't get scared. You're okay. And I'll
Yeah.
see you. I'll see you later. Yeah.
Good, good. Tunji Williams, founder and CEO of Had to Be Here, founder and chairman of Village Inc. how can we find you?
Uh, you're gonna regret asking that question because I write too much now. You can find me on X. I'm at Tunji Williams, my full name. You can find me on LinkedIn. Uh, Tunji Williams, my full name. And I have a website called tunjiwilliams.com where I have my music. I love to produce music. And then just my musings as well over the last 3 years or so during this wilderness period for me. 5 years I've been writing. So that's the best place to find me. You'll probably get sick of my voice after a little bit, but that's where I'm
Yeah.
at.
Tunji Williams, thank you for being on Opening Pathways today.
Thanks for having me, Tom. I appreciate this.
And to my viewers, this is Tom LeNoble. I'll see you next time.